hey, I want to earn 100,000 yen. What do I need to do to get there?
I was rejected in the first place, but then I was like, why don't I give it another try?
In a negotiation, the one who comes most prepared is the one that wins.
The first thing you do for at least a week is to just shoving all the potatoes.
That's why my first job was beating up pork in a restaurant. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Passion Project Japan. I'm Theo.
And I'm Gia.
And today we're going to talk about one of our most viral TikToks. Not viral, we have almost 18,000 or almost 20,000 views on this TikTok. It's how I earn 100,000 yen as a student in Japan. And I think some people have requested that we turn it into a long form podcast episode. So that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah. So in that video, I was the main person. But today, Theo's also going to share what he did or what he's doing to earn 100,000 in a month as a student in Japan as well.
Yeah. So I think maybe first we can start with like why 100,000 yen. I think 100,000 yen is a little bit arbitrary. So like there's no like specific reason why it was 100,000 yen, but it's just a good gauge because 100,000 yen used to be 1,000 US dollars, but I think with the exchange rate now it's a little bit less than that. But we did some calculations, or at least for me, I can say for myself, before I came to Japan, I did some calculations of how much I should, or want to earn that will make me like live a comfortable life. And I think, to be honest, somewhere between the range of like Hachiman to 80,000 yen to 100,000 yen was a comfortable sum of money.
That doesn't include the money that you can have on the scholarship as well, right? Because in order to pay for like rents and also electricity, all those kind of like living standards, utility stuff, then usually I would say you pay around 50k as a student.
We are both on scholarship, so there is a living stipend. But on top of that, we have to, basically find some baito to supplement our income and make sure that we are able to, do some fun stuff like travel and see Japan while we're here, buy some clothes, some drip. So today we're going to talk about like how we earned that money. Yeah. And I think it can be inspiring for you guys, or maybe you have different paths or ways to earn money. Yeah.
Hey there. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, please do so.
So I knew before coming to Japan, because I did some research, that English teaching was probably going to be the best value per hour. So 1 hour of teaching is about, 3,000 yen?
That's the highest, that's the high pay one. I mean, usually because I'm also doing some teaching jobs, I would say it range around 1,500s to 3,000s per hour. And if you're like an experienced teacher or if you're like a full-time teacher, then you might get paid more.
Okay.
But that's the range.
Yeah, because
it depends on the job.
For the English teaching, right?
For the English teaching.
I think English teaching is quite high. Whereas like not normal baito, but like the more restaurant baito or konbini baito is about 1,000 yen an hour. Yeah.
Even lower. I mean, depends on the minimum wage of each so-called prefecture. For example, in IG, the minimum wage is like $9.50 an hour. So I worked in McDonald's once, and they paid me the exact minimum amount. And if you need to do some kind of like transportation in order to go for your baito, then they would pay for the transportation as well. But other than that, then I would say especially if you do like franchise kind of baito, then they would pay you the minimum amount. Yeah,
I think my strategy coming into Japan was I wanted to work in the media industry. I kind of had that set before I even came to Japan, and so I kind of strategically tried to find ways or jobs that would allow me to work towards my goal. So this is not for everybody, I think, because not everybody has an idea of what exact industry they want to work towards. But if you have an idea of where you want to go towards, I would say that use this opportunity and find baitos that would be able to contribute to your network in the future, or just to build your skills, right?
I agree. My approach is kind of different than yours. I mean, you kind of had like a financial plan, right? And that's amazing. But my approach was a little bit different. So I looked on a website. I was searching for an average monthly spendings of a student in Japan, and it would range around like 80 to 120k a month. And so on top of that, I would want to have at least like a few month, like a few thousand yen for like my own savings. So that's why I put my budget around like 150, the amount of money that I should have in total a month as a goal. And then I already have like 40K for the scholarship. I also got another scholarship beside the main one that I have. So the rest is just like baito.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. But I do agree with you that like maybe find a job that is closer to your, how to say, your interest or like your career goal is way better than sticking to one for a long time.
For sure, yeah. That's why my first job was beating up pork in a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I worked in a Singaporean restaurant. The whole point was actually I wanted to, number one, learn how to cook because I don't know how to cook when I came to Japan. Yeah, so it was learning the kitchen skills. Number two is I wanted to practice Japanese, right? Because when I first came to Japan, my Japanese was awful. And my senpai, who worked in this restaurant, it's called Malayan, by the way.
It's a Singaporean restaurant.
It's a Singaporean restaurant, yeah. But the chef, he doesn't speak English, yeah. So I thought, okay, this is a good chance for me to learn or practice Japanese. But it was a little bit difficult because when I came here, I really had no Japanese, so I didn't even know what a carrot was in Japanese. So he would call out all these ingredients, and I'll be completely lost. I'll be like, oh, ninjin, and then I would like produce the what do you call that, chingensai instead, or something like that. Yeah. So it was a little bit difficult, but it served the purpose of, you know, building up some Japanese vocabulary, and most importantly, learning basic kitchen skills, like how to cut garlic.
That's interesting because the first job that I had here as a baito was also doing some kitchen work. I said before I worked for the McDonald's, right? It was a really fun experience. They have a whole like handbook for you as a staff to do some training. So you come to the job, right? The first thing you do for at least a week is to just shoving all the potatoes. And you have
like
to
the French fries?
Yeah, the French fries. Yeah. So like, you know, there's like SML size, right? You have to shove it in the perfect amount every single time. And once you're perfect with that, you can move to another station, which is called assembling the burgers. And once you're finished with the burgers, you can go to, you know, cooking the ingredients, the patties or like the nuggets. And once you mastering those kind of like cooking skills, then you can move to the counter or like drinks. So they, even within the kitchen, they have a very systemized ladder for you to grow as a staff in McDonald's. So I learned a lot actually.
The corporate ladder for McDonald's, rise to become a manager.
Yeah.
You could have become a manager, right?
Yeah, I could have become a manager if I worked there for a long time. I mean, the Sacho, like the store manager there, he was also just a part-time worker as me. And then he worked there for, I think, 3 or 4 years, and then he became the store manager. And if he spent the time long enough there, he can become like a region manager, or like even like the manager in the future. Yeah. So that's how it goes in McDonald's. So you can become a part-time worker. From a part-time worker, you can become a manager. So why do you quit the job, and then how do you change to find another? Is it higher paid money? Kind of.
So when I quit the job, I didn't have a new job lined up, but I remember I was just on the train back after like a late shift, and I was like, man, I think I don't want to be beating up the pork anymore because it's tiring and you just smell like oil and stuff. Huge respect for kitchen staff and anybody who's doing baito there, but I just decided that, you know, I have some skills, I have some video skills, and I want to move towards the media industry. So I kind of want to develop that and move towards that. So that's where I decided to, you know, take the leap of faith, just, you know, end the baito and try something else. Yeah.
So you did like kitchen work and then like some university jobs, but do you actually earn like 100K?
No, yeah, definitely not 100K. It was much less than that, which was fine at the point, because I remember I had that strategy. So my first year, I'm okay with not earning like so much money. So I didn't really earn that much money through all these different jobs, but it was getting me experiences and meeting new people. While I was working that university job, I got a call from one of my friends and network that I made through some of the student groups here. And he was like, hey, I'm starting this new organization as part of this IT firm. do you want to come aboard and help me set it up? And I was like, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, sounds fun. Yeah.
Who?
Is it Kenny? Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah, it's Kenny. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I remember.
Kenny, shout out Kenny Lawas. Yeah,
Kenny Lawas.
A beautiful boss from Indonesia. He was like, yeah, you want to start this out with me? And so we did it. So me and a couple of group of friends, we became friends there. We basically organized events and we were trying to build this international community. And that was pretty fun, yeah. Of course, we got paid by the IT firm. And I think that through that experience, I gained a lot of contacts and many good friends from the organization.
You were there for quite a long time, did you? I kind of completely forgot, but yeah, you kind of dedicated a lot of time with that community.
Yeah,
actually.
It was pretty fun. I think about like less than a year, and the pay was also pretty good. And so I was trying to move towards using more of my skills that I already had and building on those skills so that I can bring more value to the company. And if I do that, then my plan was that my hourly rate would get higher, right? So
how much do you earn an hour?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't remember. I do remember it's between 1,000 to 1,500. I don't remember the exact amount. But I do remember that it was the kind of task based. So it's like, okay, there's this task that we have to do this. So I kind of log in my own hours through the portal of the IT firm. And it's very like kind of self accountability.
Oh, so it's very flexible. Like you can just estimate how much hour you work on a certain task, certain project, and then you log into the system and then you get paid.
Yeah, I mean, so if I'm working on that job, I would basically sign in like what do you call that, attendance sheet card thing. Yeah, well, online, and then I would just do it. So I could do it from home. I could go to their office and do it, and it was of course more fun to do it like in office with people. Yeah, so I did that, and that was a pretty fun experience. I think I earned decently, still not 100K, but it was pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you follow us quite a long time, then you would know that Theo works for YL, right?
Ooh,
I would say
okay,
that's
yeah.
a big change for you, don't? No?
Yeah. Okay. So after the IT job was over, so the IT firm, I was basically my role there was like social media stuff, and so through that experience, I was able to prepare the whole social media deck for them, and the whole social media plan. I also joined like a student group and did the social media deck for them. So now I had these two examples, and remember at the start, this is the industry that I wanted to move towards, and so I have these two experiences, and they are like for a Japanese audience or like in Japan. And so I felt a little bit more confident, like I will be able to help a Japanese media company. And shout out to my other boss, Japanese boss, Yoichi, who I worked with before. I've been following, so he started his own agency. It's called YL Projects. It's the agency that I work at now. And he basically, I just DM'd him and I was like, hey, I'm coming to Tokyo. You want to like meet up? And he was like, yeah, come to the office. And so I came to the office. He didn't know this, but actually I was preparing my pitch for myself to be an intern at YL. And so I had these two decks prepared. I had, this kind of strategy in mind as well. And so I came, we talked, and after a while I asked him like, hey, are you looking for an intern? And he was like, not really, but we can talk. And then I showed him like, oh, I did this strategy deck for this organization. I did this strategy deck for this, like, this is the results and everything. So I came prepared, I can't remember who said this, but like, there's this quote from someone, I can't remember who, but they said that in a negotiation, the one who comes most prepared is the one that wins. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. So I made sure I was like really, really prepared. So I came in, and then after that I just, pitched myself basically, and I was able to score an internship.
You put him in a position that he cannot really deny.
He could,
but like, I mean, you're being very how to say, proactive, right?
Yeah.
You came with a purpose. That's why he don't really feel like rejecting you. Would you say?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess
mean,
so.
It might be not so clear, but it's a psychological thing, I would say.
I think being proactive is good though, right? And
there's nothing wrong with that.
Definitely would suggest if you are trying to move towards the media industry or basically any industry where you are interested in, just be proactive, come up with something that you can actually present to people, and then just DM them, be like, hey, can we talk? Or I have this thing I prepared for you. We can send it to you for free. Some of the best opportunities and doors open because of that. So
Yeah.
So that's a good, especially if you're a student, because you have time, and you're, so when you're a working adult, your time becomes a little bit more valuable because let's say you're earning like, I don't know what, 300,000 yen a month, right? So that if you divide that by your working hours, so your hourly rate is higher. But when you're a student, I'm okay with working for like 1,000 yen an hour kind of job, and so because of that, my hourly rate is not worth that much. So you can just experiment and try out so many different things, right?
Yeah. Agree. And especially if you're in like Japan and the main language is not like English, it's difficult to find a job that is in that you can work in your own language, right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when we are not really fluent in Japanese, it's really hard to find a job that is tailored to your own career or your own interest. So being proactive, or like, just find some people who are, for example, available on LinkedIn, or someone you know before, might be helpful.
Yeah, and the good thing about YL is that it's a bilingual agency. So Yoichi is, I have two bosses, Yoichi and Lucy. Lucy is Australian, so they joined forces to come up with this agency. So I felt like I was able to contribute to them. Yeah, but I did not earn 100,000 yen a month.
You had to negotiate again, did you?
I did, yeah. So I did an internship there, and then after the internship, I was basically working there remote from. So there are offices in Tokyo, and then I was in Nagoya. So just working, and after about I would say a year or maybe like 9 months or something, I was like, hey, maybe about a year. I basically sent them a message. I was like, let's have a chat and kind of recap what I've done so far, and just how we can like move forward. And I just wanted to present to them, this is, everything that I've done so far. So I compiled it once again into a deck, all the projects I've worked on, literally every single detail, and like the effect of those projects that I had. And I was like, yeah, so I kind of want to do more for YL. So I asked them for like increasing like specified hours and a specified amount. Yeah, so I won't say the exact amount that I'm earning per hour because I'm still working there, and the number of hours. But basically, I told them, if I earn like 100,000 yen a month as a student, I'm done. I'm comfortable. Like that's enough for me to live. And
Very comfortable.
That is like the baseline for me. And so I pitched them, and very transparent and telling them that, and they were like, yeah, sure. Yeah, and it was a lot of fear.
You had really nice bosses, I would say. They are really supportive.
Yeah.
I've never met them before, but from what you've been telling me, I would feel that they are very.
I would love to have them on the podcast. I think it would be a really fun conversation. But yeah, do you think asking for a raise is scary? Have you ever asked for a raise?
Not directly. When I was in Vietnam, I was asking my manager to give me a raise as a shift manager. I was working in a restaurant, and I was like, oh shit, this pay is not enough for me as a student. And I asked her, can you just pay me like 5,000 yen Vietnamese dong more an hour or something like that? And she was like, yeah, sure. Because I guess the quality of my work was good as well, so they are willing to do so.
I guess that's the lesson there. Sometimes you just gotta ask. It's very uncomfortable though. I have to say, I was really, really, really scared to ask. I've never asked for a raise, right?
Money is a sensitive thing.
It feels like a sensitive thing, right?
It is a sensitive thing.
Yeah, but that's why you have to come prepared. And also, I guess I can't remember who's. I think it's Simon Sinek. He has this really good episode with Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, about things young people need to know, and he's talking about like negotiating a raise. In a negotiation for a raise, it's not just like black and white. If it's my way or the highway, right? There has to be, of course, give and take, and you have to be able to not back yourself in a corner. Like, okay, if you don't give me this, I'm gone, right? It's a negotiation, so you have to be able to like kind of prime them. You might not even need to ask for a raise. You can say, hey, I want to earn 100,000 yen. What do I need to do to get there? This is what I'm doing so far. What more do I need to do so that I can hit that mark, right? And so there are like 2 or 3 possible outcomes. The first is that they say, yo, you are doing good enough. Yeah, sure, 100,000 yen, sure. Number 2 is like, okay, you need to do this, and then I'll give you 100,000 yen. Number 3 is like, no, I don't think that whatever you do, you can earn 100,000 yen. But basically, from each point from there, you can kind of go, right? But if you do that way, I think the bosses are way more receptive to giving you like a raise, basically. Yeah. Guys, we are upping up our short form content game this year, so if you don't want to miss that out, please follow us at Passion Project JP on Instagram and TikTok. Exclusive content just for you guys. Gia, you had the viral TikTok, almost 20k views on TikTok, and so how you want to elaborate on how you earn 100,000 yen as a student in Japan?
So I would present my 3 points first. First, I did teaching jobs. Second, I did an internship with a startup. And next one is university job. So those are my main source of income to get me 100k. So because I don't have the skills that you have in order to work for like a media company.
Thanks.
So I just stick to very traditional occupations. And as I said, my approach is also different from you. I think of how much I want to earn as like, you know, the spendings and also the savings. That's why I come up with 100k. I also wanted to look for jobs that are paying me high enough and don't have to spend a lot of time on it, because I also value the time that I do like schoolwork and exercising as well. It's like doing different projects. So that's why I chose the teaching job. University jobs is also because I started doing with you, right, the Mira project, and also like some video stuff for the school, and I'm still doing it now, and I find it really fun to, you know, interact with professors and other students in the school. That's why I keep doing so.
Yeah.
And the last one is the internship. So I met this boss very randomly on social media. He was promoting for his new platform called Yomoyama. It's like a so-called magazine for foreigners living in Japan who wants to explore like hidden gems inside the country. So I came in as a freelance writer.
Freelance writer? Like what were you writing?
I was just writing some traveling stuff. For example, if I have you remember we went to Nisho?
Yeah.
To do some kind of like promoting for a key house.
Yeah, like this
Airbnb place.
Airbnb that we made friends with the owner, and he invited us back to help promote this Airbnb.
For free. We went back there for initial for free for a week. He gave us like 100k or something just to, you know, like do some promotion and like helping out with the Airbnb.
Really fun, yeah.
It was really fun.
Shout out Nagai-san.
Nagai-san, yeah. So the pay there was around 5k for a post. And I was doing so, but then I had a lot of conversation with them, and I tell them a lot about my activities in the university, and they were really interested in what I did. So a year later, they would ask me like, "Oh, hey, do you want to help us out with this startup project?" And right at that time, like, I would also want to experience something else rather than doing baito, right? So I was like, sure, yeah, I'm actually also very interested in entrepreneurship, and I can do like social media and everything. So we talked a little bit, and he was like, oh, hey, I can pay you this fixed amount of money as long as you can, you know, produce this much amount of work. How does it sound? And I was like, perfect, I can do that. So yeah, that's how I earn a part of my 100k income as well. So
I think the main difference between yours and mine is that your 100,000 yen comes from diversified income.
Diversified income, yeah.
Whereas mine was like, I kind of focused in on just this one.
Just one.
To get like 100,000 yen. So both are really viable strategies. I think I could do mine because there's like a certain skill that I had. And yours was like you were building up these different skill sets and different areas of expertise. Yeah.
Theo, I realized that you really like decks.
Decks?
Everything you do, you do it with decks. Like financial plans is also on the slide. Talking to boss also on the slide. He talked to one of his friend about like how he can promote his Instagram account. Also a deck. So like seriously, he's Santiago in real life.
Yeah, so we've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Okay, but I do think that decks is really important, and here's why. If you present a deck, it automatically shows that you are into this and you are invested in this and you're putting in effort, and people recognize that you're putting in effort, right? If you kind of just have just a casual chat and stuff, then that's what it will remain, a casual chat. But if you pull up a deck suddenly, like, oh, by the way, I prepared this deck for you, and bam, you put it in front of them, or with your iPad, or you screen share, suddenly they'll be like, whoa, wait, you spent all this time doing this for me and I didn't ask you to? And so it shows that you are very proactive. And it's not that difficult to just, go on the internet, like go and find some information, strategies, insights, combine it with like a case study, which is what you're helping your friend with, or helping whatever company it with. Yeah, and then just put together a deck. Yeah.
I also got an internship for making a deck. So I was rejected in the first place, but then I was like, why don't I give it another try? So I sent directly my deck to the hiring manager saying that these are the reason you should hire me as an intern. So yeah, I got accepted.
Yeah. So I guess the lesson is don't take no for an answer.
Yeah, there's no harm in trying.
There's no harm in asking, right? Like there was no internship available for me as well, and I just asked. There was no kind of conversation about getting a raise, but just ask. And so if you want to earn a certain amount or you want to do a certain thing, just be brave, ask, prepare a deck. Prepare a thoughtful deck. Yeah, so that's how we make 100,000 yen as a student in Japan. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM us or email us. We are happy to reply. We have a newsletter out, so please go and subscribe to that as well. So follow us on Instagram, TikTok at Passion Project JP. Follow us on YouTube at Passion Project Japan. And listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Bye.